couple of things. With Cooley, as physical as he was during the regular season, do you see him stepping that up even more in the playoffs? And if so, how valuable is that?
It's his physicality has been pretty consistent all year. I wouldn't say that he's running around now, but we certainly need our guys to play their roles. Um, I think he was pretty high with regard to hits on our team for the league and for rookies, and so he's done a good job with that. But it's not like we've asked him to change and become this super physical guy. So just maintain his game. He's had a good season for us. Maintain that level of play through the playoffs. But I think I answered this yesterday. Just by the way the series moves on, everything seems to ratchet up a little bit. Gets a little bit more competitive, a little bit faster, a little bit more physical. So it may come from that.
What David?
I think you haven't been trailing after the first period. The past four, you scored in the first 10 minutes. What's kind of been the key to those quick starts? And I mean, are you kind of, as you go farther in the playoffs, you're kind of going to still need those to carry over?
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime you get the first goal is an important thing. We talk about starting well. Haven't really talked about getting the first goal, but just making sure that we start the right way and trying to carry that through, the first 10 minutes of the first period, through the first period, and then look to carry it on through the game. So I do think that any goal is important. Our first goal is important. You can get some energy and, some confidence from that first goal as well. So it is important.
That third line obviously has been analytically excellent in these playoffs, but the scoring maybe hasn't been there. Is there anything that they aren't doing, that the numbers aren't showing, or do you feel like the goals are going to come?
I think they've done a pretty good job. They're like you said, they're doing the right things with the way the game's being played. Capo had a big goal for us a couple games ago, and anytime we can distribute that offense through our lineup, go back to game one in the first series, it was Gaudreau's line who had a big night for us that night. And I think getting contributions from everybody. I think oftentimes if the process is right and you're doing the right things, usually the numbers will follow. And so we're happy with the way that they're playing.
Morning. I know I'm violating the statute of limitations a little bit, but one of the first decisions you had to make as Canes head coach was naming Rod captain. I'm just curious about what the thought process was like there and what you remember about making that decision.
I think you go through when you're new and you're on the outside, I think you go through an evaluation process of analyzing who you watch how the team functions and analyze how they inside the room and on the ice and in games and off the ice, you start to formulate ideas of who might be good leaders on your team, and he was always in that mix of somebody that we were talking about and evaluating right from the start. I think in any team there's good leadership, there can be good leadership, and so then you have to make decisions from there. And so I think just through time you start to see the guys that are stepping forward and who might be the guy to lead that team.
Kind of to that same point. Have there been anyone in the room that stepped up vocally? You can see the leadership on the ice and whatnot, but we're not in the room. So has anyone kind of stepped up and said anything? As far as someone who might be surprising?
No, I mean our group works by committee, and there when things need to get said, it gets said. Whether it's me or whether it's them, there's open communication. I can't think of anything particularly that you're talking about.
A lot of fans think Rempe is treated unfairly by the officials, and maybe because of his reputation. Do you think he's treated fairly by officials, but especially like that call the other night against him?
Yeah, the game happens quick out there. I think he's a guy that gets eyes on him for sure. Just the size of him and the way he's played the game. I mentioned I can't think of a guy who's had such a big impact in his introduction into the National Hockey League. It was just there was a lot that was surrounding his presence, and I think the eyes get drawn to him. But I know the game happens quickly as well, and we go back and I've said this before, even on the time where it did cross a line, we go back and we teach him. We teach him about the game. We teach him about hitting or when to fight or when not to fight. We talked to him about that. We talked to him about systems. He's a young player. He's done a really good job for us inside of that. So I do think that the eyes are on him just because of his size a little bit. But I know that the game happens pretty fast too, and decisions are made really quick out there. Thank you.